Players and coaches sometimes get lost on two different planets. Wrong assumptions lead to wrong instructions. How can this happen and how to avoid it? Find out more in this video. Another Challenger tournament was planned for Yuri Rodionov this week. Although it did not take place in Austria, it was almost a home tournament. Bratislava is only 60 kilometers away from Vienna, so there's hardly a challenger that is closer to Vienna. I was already at this tournament last year. The link below will certainly provide additional information for those interested. The tournament started a day late as the rain won the first day of qualifying. As a result, the first round of the main draw was only played on Tuesday and Wednesday. In Yuri's case, this meant doubles on Tuesday and the first round of singles on Wednesday. Yuri competed in the doubles with David Pichler from Austria. The two often play doubles together at challenger level and the results are usually okay. For Yuri, double is a welcome additional training in some weeks. With more experience, Yuri certainly has the potential to be well placed in the world rankings in doubles as well. But his focus is certainly fully on singles. Nevertheless, he takes the weeks in which he plays doubles seriously and tries to get the best out of the week. This week, however, they were eliminated in the first round of doubles. The Czech duo Barnat-Duda was the better team on that day. Although a turnaround is possible at any time in doubles, one moment to turn the momentum remained unused, and then the match was already over. In the singles, Yuri faced the Croatian Prismic in the first round. After several injuries, the Croatian has recently shown that he is once again a force to be reckoned with. Yuri didn't get off a good start. The Croatian served very strongly in the first set, and Yuri lost this set 1-6. In the second set, there was a chance to steer the match in a different direction. At 2-1, Yuri was unable to take advantage of two opportunities to break to 3-1, and he ended up losing the set 4-6. Yuri not only lost the match, but also his wallet that day, making it anything but a day to remember. What is always interesting for us as a team when working with the players is how important it is to keep the instructions as simple as possible. I certainly tend to go into detail on the assumption that the player will follow this path, but I often find that it is not the case. It can happen that things that are clear to me have reached the player, but are still far from being firmly established. That's why I'm always reminded not to take the next step too soon. Of course, the player has to be ready to take the next step after a certain amount of time. Otherwise, you will remain in an unwanted position for too long. As always, good communication is crucial. Otherwise, it can happen that the player and the coach start from two different starting points, and then there are misunderstandings. To avoid these misunderstandings, it is very important to encourage the player to communicate how he has understood instructions and what he thinks is expected of him. Unfortunately, for many players, it's more difficult than you might think to talk about these things, and therefore it is even more important to get this information from the player. Otherwise, as a coach, you make false assumptions and then the instructions do not have the desired effect. Slava Belinski and Sebastian Sorga are once again in Bosnia. A 25k future is being held in Kiseljak. The tournament near Sarajevo has been taking place for many years, is well organized, and there's a lot of interest considering it is a future tournament. After winning two matches, Slava and Sebastian reached the quarterfinals. Their performances up to that point were not great, but obviously sufficient. Pleasingly, both also won the quarterfinals and will now face each other in the semifinals. I will report on the rest of the tournament in the next video. At least one stroke of luck for Yuri regarding his wallet. The Portuguese Faria took it from the locker room by mistake, but then informed Yuri as soon as he realized that he took a wrong wallet. That was it for this week. Thank you for your interest and see you in the next video.